computer. We are recording this meeting. All right, so I'm sorry I'm a little late, but we're going to get going. So Christina first wanted to bring up that costume selections are due on Monday, which I know is soon. But we've started doing it faster than ever before in Brainerd. We don't make it into as big a deal as we used to. We just go bing, bing, bing and pick them out. As I'm not involved, I'm not involved, so I may be lying there, but we do it.
Just remember that your schedule doesn't have to be set in stone. We just need those costume selections. Your schedule you can play with and manipulate until we're at that final proofing stage and our printing packets and going live. So don't stress out about if your schedule isn't totally set, you don't know who all of your instructors are right now. That's okay. That's okay.
And then when you're emailing your reps, make sure you include your MK numbers and item numbers, because you will be looking at them and know them, and otherwise they have to go back and look them up, and it's very time consuming. So we really appreciate you doing that. So gosh, that's great. And I hope you loved the live uniform video that they did. That should have helped. Some of you got to see them at one of the places, but boy, it's so much better than it used to be when we didn't have all these like avenues to talk about costumes and show them to you. So that is great. Okay, so now we're going to move on to TWDs. And something that will really help us is if you pass along all the information to your parents, the meeting location, like where you're meeting them, and the meeting time and the performance times. That really helps out. So the best communication you can do is appreciated.
We've been getting more phone calls on that than in past years, I would say. I've had a lot of parents calling and asking me what time their kids dance this weekend. And then I have to pull it up, find their class. So you could just get all that information out as soon as you have it. That'd be great.
That'd be so nice. Yeah. And then Amanda would really appreciate it if you'd get all the solo and small group SDS, collect all information from Amanda as soon as possible. And if people haven't paid yet, please get after them for that. That would be great. And get your music in is in all capital letters with 3 exclamation points. That slows us down. And, you know, at this time of year, poor Amanda, I'm getting emails from her at 9:30 at night, and, you know, she's working around the clock. So you guys, if you could just do your part and get your music in and label it the way she asks you to label it. Correct? Amanda, pipe in here if you want.
Yep. And I know it sounds really anal and silly, but the reason why is because I can just take a copy of the MK number and throw it into the music computer and it pulls up your email. But if there's spaces or number signs or weird stuff, then I have to go back and like search your email, and it doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal to do that once. But when I'm doing it 300 times, it's a lot. So if I could just copy the MK number, throw it into the thing. And then if you have mistakes on things that I've told you about, then you need to make sure to correct them for the future ones. Because they're like, it's a lot of people are sending the same email again, and it's like the same messed up stuff. So
give us an example, like wrong head instructors, or
it'd be like they have the same MK number on a class, and it was like for 2 things, and then they forwarded the same email again with the same MK number on the class. So we're going through the same crap for the next thing. And then one good thing is anyone who's going to Bloomington, all of their music is in. So all of those directors.
Lord, woo, woo, that's great.
I actually have the Saturday and Sunday playlist done. This is the earliest I've ever been able to do that for a TWD because all the music was in.
You know how like when you're having your show and you want to check all the boxes and cross things off? Sometimes we can't do that till the morning of because of some people. So that would really be helpful to get your music in.
What do you all the things kind of line up with each other? Like I can't finish my thing to pass it on to Tara to print her stuff to do the next, you know, so it's like all of it's like in a chain, and it starts with you guys. So
thank you. What did you mean by when you email in changes, this doesn't work, isn't helpful to you?
This is literally an email I get. Hi, this isn't going to work for my mini kicks. Thanks. And I'm like,
what isn't going to work?
What isn't going to work? Is it too early? Is it too late? Is it need to be away from a different thing? Like I get that email more than you think. And it's like, this isn't going to work for us. Okay. That's all I want to send back is sounds good. Like, I don't know what to, you know what I mean? So like, Sarah Garduno does a really good job, literally listing out like, this time does not work, move it to this time or around this time, it's like she thinks of the solutions for me, so I don't have, because I don't know, what is going on with your people. So thanks, Sarah.
Okay. So another thing is remember to bring backup music to the music table, just in case something isn't right, then you have it with you. And if you have it on your phone, do we have dongles there? I don't know. You might have to have a dongle with you, or Joel, do you have dongles? I don't know. But
I know
bring-
we don't have the thing for a Samsung phone.
Okay,
We
so
have
if
like
you
an
guys-
iPhone dongle, but we don't have like the Samsung version of it, because someone was showing it to me at the TWD, and we do not have that.
Okay. And then just another little helpful thing is if you take your judging sheets from the coach's room, we hope you do, leave the folder, because we keep using those, we reuse those. So take your sheets, but leave the folder. That would be helpful. Make sure to grab your high gold placement ribbons and pass them out right away to dancers. They love those. That's a big deal. So now Allie is going to talk about tiebreakers, I believe, or do you want me to?
No, I can.
Okay.
So we kind of had a meeting yesterday talking about what to do in the case of a tie. And we feel like ties have been, kind of frequent here and there, and we'd love to not have ties if possible. So we came up with a solution yesterday of how to do tiebreakers. So we just wanted to make everybody aware of how tiebreakers will be done going forward. So if there is a tie with total points, because your placement is off of your total points, if there is a tie with total points, we are going to have the judges go to their technique points. So if you look at the judging sheet, how it's broken down into the categories of technique, execution, difficulty, and overall performance, we are going to go to who has the highest score in technique out of those two teams that have tied. So it'll go to technique next, then say there's still a tie. Then from there, we would go to execution, right?
Yep.
And then if there's still a tie, we would go to overall performance. And then fourth, if there's still a tie, which I highly doubt we would ever get to this point, if there was still a tie, we would go to the difficulty. So if anybody has any questions on that, but that's how we're planning to do tiebreakers going forward.
Gives us a nice black and white
Yeah.
protocol.
Okay, I'll just kind of quickly add something to that. One of the reasons this came up is because in Sauk Rapids last weekend, we had a bunch of ties, and what ended up happening in a couple divisions where the tie fell, it made us have to announce every team in a category. So say there was, 5 teams in a category, but there was a tie for third place, which then pulled that fourth place team in. Then now you're announcing fifth place, which in reality is last place in that category. And we're trying to avoid, some of that. So that's where this came about.
Well, good plan for that, you guys. And go ahead and write any questions in the chat. So now next, I want to go on to how do your teams look at TWD? I want you to really think that your performance, your competition is your advertising. So I want you to think about how your kids look. I don't mean winning, but I mean, are you bringing them as far as someone else could? And I want you to really think about that. Lately, I've been posting various videos on how to clean. I made a 20-minute podcast the other day that I put in the Power Pack today on cleaning. And some of you have heard my cleaning stuff 100 times, but maybe listen to it when you're driving and something will resonate with you that will help you get cleaner. So much of when I watch a team, so much of what looks to me like not good is what I would say. I wouldn't say bad, but so much of what bothers me are the basics. And, I even sat at state and I watched a team that was in Class A, and I thought to myself, I could work with that team for 1 hour or 2 hours and get them a couple places up. And I know that sounds probably vain or whatever, but it is a fact. I think that some people don't pay attention to cleaning. Things like feet together, connections, slaps, the basics, force of moves. So please listen to some of those podcasts. I even think go show your teams a college team, show them a high school team that's really good. Sometimes Alia said she got farther showing her little kids something that another little kid did that was good, because when they see a college, they think, well, oh, they're college or whatever. But
that's probably my best motivation for like second, third, fourth, and fifth grade is to show them like I will just find random things on YouTube of like kids that are like little stars. And I'm like, they're your same age. And then they're like, what? And then they all of a sudden start trying way harder. Like it makes a huge difference.
I know Sandy had Allie send a video of her starlights to show her starlights, like a team just their same age, to help them try harder. But you guys could be doing that back and forth to each other. I think sometimes having a random person come in before you compete, like maybe an alumni or somebody to help watch. But I just think, I'm not saying winning, I'm just saying make your kids look as presentable and as proud of their performance as you can. And I also feel it's how you say things to them, instead of like, oh, you guys, you look, don't ever be negative. Don't ever be negative. More like, how can we get another point? That's my line that I use all the time. How can we get another point? If we do this and 24 of you do it, that's 24 points. Let's pull together. So just think about, how can we get another point? That should be on your agenda every day. Okay, enough of that, because you could watch videos and listen to other stuff. Some of the soloists, the judges brought up butt glue would be helpful for those not wearing tights.
It wasn't the judges, it was us, that I just think people don't know about it, because kids a lot of times when they're doing solos aren't wearing tights, and then their leotards ride up really bad. And there is stuff like called stick it. There's different, it doesn't work very good if you have tights on. But if they aren't wearing tights at their solo costume, have them use that, because there was a lot of solos we saw by the end where leotards are up the butts.
Up the wazoo. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I think that you can, it might be on Amazon, but I think at some point Stacy maybe could answer this. We have sold it. So
Yeah, but I don't think we have it anymore. But
We did have it. We were carrying the Pretty Girl brand, which is a pretty good brand. I'll check with Justin and I'll post it on the
Okay.
Facebook page if we have it.
we have it. So
It works great. I highly recommend it.
yeah, I've used it for myself for various things, you know, holding your dress in place or whatever. It's great. Al, you had makeup at competition. Was that you?
Yeah, so just that was something that judges brought up after Sauk Rapids, that there was a lot of teams where kids weren't wearing makeup, and which is fine, but just with their like bright costumes and stuff, their facial expressions don't show up as well. So just, I know that there's probably some parents that aren't okay with it or whatever you might be dealing with in your individual town, but maybe explaining to parents why we wear lipstick, why we wear blush, why they wear mascara, because it makes their facial expressions show up from far away where those judges are sitting up really high. And there's a lot of teams that weren't wearing anything. So just making sure that they have something on their face so that it helps those facial expressions show up. It's not like a huge ordeal, but just
Something to be aware of. Then I just wanted to point out, you know, I've been down, I've been using my phone a lot since the TWDs because I haven't been there and had surgery, been sitting around. And oh my gosh, you guys, the marketing that you get off TWDs is insane. Like, I just see stuff posted constantly. You guys are doing a great job about posting. So use that to your advantage. Take the pictures. Like, some people have some really cool pictures that they've posted, and make sure you're getting your bang for your buck out of the TWDs, because people love to see their kids. Allie, wasn't it Owatonna, Victoria, that said she's had, was it you that told me that or somebody
not
else?
me. It was Christina.
me,
Oh,
yeah.
it's Christina. Okay.
We were in the shoot on Sunday and she said, I just have to say this is the best marketing for my program. She said, and only her wheeze had gone for the day. So we're still in the morning. She already had 2 or 3 parents reach out to her wanting to sign their kids up for her program based off posts that they'd seen their friends put on Facebook of their kids at the competition. She said, TWD posts are simply the best marketing that I have.
They are. And I think if you can get your parents to share them, like if you take a group picture and then share it with all your parents and say, please post this, or, you know, come up with some great ones, like where they're all putting their hands in on 3, your name, and just some different posts, not just the typical ones. But boy, it's really getting the media frenzy, because I can't even, they're in my feed and I can hardly see anything else, which is exciting. So yeah. Looking at next season, you had something on your Christina for uniform sizing, enter in the AT. What's the AT?
Yeah. Activity tree.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So remember, I think a lot of directors have forgot that we have the ability to enter our dancers' sizing into the system, so that when parents go on to purchase their costumes, it says size recommended, youth 14, pants, adult small, or whatever the case might be. And we'll do when it gets a little bit closer to the end of the season, when you're measuring people for next year, we'll do a more like step-by-step tutorial for you. But just if you haven't done that, go in, it's right when you're in your class list, the left-hand side of the screen, it says uniform sizing, I believe. Just click on that and it brings up basically a roster of your entire program. If you have stuff entered in there, now might be a good time to delete it out because most parents have purchased their costumes so that you can start fresh next year. Or leave them in there and just up them up a size for next year's costumes if that's what you feel the kid is gonna need.
So smart, because most
And you-
parents order wrong. Oh,
And you
Good.
have to, once you enter everything that shows on like your first page, you have to update the sizing to save it and then switch to the next page or you'll lose everything. But
okay.
we'll do a more detailed thing on that.
This is random, but as we're sitting here, tell us if you like noon or night better, because it feels like we have a lot of people on here. I don't know, maybe
This
just,
is our best noon one we've had. It's our
yeah.
best-
So I know that we in the office like noon better just because by 8 o'clock at night when we've been there all day and then you taught class and then you go to the meeting, it's crazy. So, okay, so some exciting things, convention speakers. I kind of went wild with convention speakers and camp speakers. So if you go to camp in Minnesota or you go to convention, which I certainly hope you are, you're going to hear some great people. We're having Rob Miller come into convention, which is exciting. I've heard him twice, once in Nashville. I heard him at the National Dance Coaches Association. I heard him once in Wisconsin, and he's just so motivating. I took 2 pages of notes, and at each time, I just think you're going to really like him. And he's very kind of like pump you up type of a guy. Then Allie was able to get Jade Whaley, who is a hip hop teacher, and she's going to come in and teach some hip hop classes to your head instructors at convention and to you. We're going to do both. And she's the one that she was a Chicago Bulls dancer. She's
She
taught at
still is, yeah.
yeah, and she taught at our youth camp or at our high school camps. And then when she was a little kid, she was on, what was the show she was on?
Star
Star
Search, I
Search.
think.
No, it wasn't there like some Disney show she was on. Oh, maybe it was just Star Search. But yeah, she's really great. And then Susan Averna is coming in to do a mental health. She lives out in Connecticut and she coaches a college dance team, but she also is a psychologist, and she's going to be teaching mental health for your athletes and helping you through that. So that should be neat. As well as many other things. So we're excited about the stuff that's happening this summer. We tried to shake it up and do different things that you haven't had. Since we have the ability to put some of the classes online now and do them on Zoom, we thought, let's, when we're all together, bring in some cool stuff. So that will be neat. Class fees for next season. I don't know if Joel wants to talk about this at all, but I just want to say, expect them to be going up because and substantially. We've had several meetings on it. I wasn't really involved with it as much as Christine and Joel, but and Steve. But just like you, when you go to the grocery store right now, and you try to buy eggs, they're way more, milk's way more, everything's way more, gas is more. It's coming back to us in so many ways in our company, with wages, with utilities, with everything we do, as you're probably experiencing it as well. We had some real interesting bowl game bills after the bowl game that were really high. I don't know if Joel wants to talk about any of that, but just to show you how everything's changing everywhere. So I think preparing yourself for that is, I mean, it's even like you go get a Starbucks and it's almost $15 for a Starbucks and a sandwich now. So everything has gone up. So I think we have to know that we're going to go up too. And
I can kind of, I'll just add a couple things. So yeah, so like we spent, I don't know, hour and a half the other day kind of going through some of this and different things. And the reality of the world right now is everything is going up. And, you know, and I even in talking with Christina, Jared and Steve, kind of even, you know, equated it to like with class fees and raising them. You know, your guys' personal expenses are going up. When you go to the grocery store, stuff's more expensive for you. So
you need a wage.
You need a wage increase, and how that happens is raising class fees. And so, you know, there's some of that kind of has to happen to kind of keep everything in line. And obviously, you know, we're sensitive to price increases. We always are. But sometimes it is what it is, you know, like the grocery store references and all these other expenses that are going up and heating your homes and different things. It's out of control right now. And if we don't follow suit, we get behind, and then nobody makes money. And that's not good for anybody. And kind of to the reference of the bowl game expenses, we got our busing bill, and I opened it and added it up and almost fell to the floor. It was up 33% per person compared to last year. They raised our pricing out of nowhere on us. And when they told us it was going to be 4 to 8%, it was up 33%. Well, when you don't plan for stuff like that, it, you know, just kind of kills you. So we're trying our best, I guess, in kind of wrapping it up. We're trying our best to be sensitive to pricing, but also be prepared that there is going to be some increasing.
And Joel, just correct me if I'm wrong, but last year's increases, inflation was not considered in those. That was just a typical adding of our tuition or whatever. But because of when you had to decide prices for tuition last year, inflation hadn't hit yet. And so we've been kind of operating a year here with inflation in regards to our tuitions probably not being where they should be, even just this past year.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, we're behind, you know, and we've, you know, kind of, again, there'll be more on this. And I see a question in the chat, like asking if there'll be a letter explaining this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can probably come up with something to explain it to parents, but honestly, parents probably know, like they know everything they're dealing with, you know. And our biggest thing that I feel like we need to do is, and I hate to say the word sell it, but it's like, we need you guys on board to kind of be supportive in it and understand, like, this is a whole group effort. And like Marnie said, like, inflation's inflation, like everything costs more right now. And, you know, something that we're trying to do and want to do more of is start really analyzing expense. You know, we analyze expenses, but we need to look at it more. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, Christina, but like our average expenses, you know, when we're talking program expenses specifically, it's rent, payroll, you know, all your guys, you know, all the direct expenses to your program. Our company average, like 3 years ago, I think, was around 23% of revenues on those for direct expenses to your direct revenues. This past dance season, 21-22, the company average was 31%. Well, we have not increased, you know, we're not increasing the class fees enough to make up with that, because we've lost, you know, you guys and the home office, we've lost 7 percentage points in the last, I think it was 4 years maybe or something. So just that's what we're kind of looking at, just so everybody's
well. And because of that, as a director, you are not making as much as you did 2 years ago.
Right.
Like you might even think that your numbers, you know, your wage, your P&L is higher than it was last year, but with inflation, you're actually not making more.
Right, for sure. So we do have to stick with it. And I mean, the bowl game was just a real brutal slap in the face, because, you know, you set those prices and then we know what we have to work with. And then when it went up 33% just for busing, you know, from what we guesstimated, that's a lot. I mean, I think I about fell off my chair when I heard the busing bill. You guys probably would. I don't know what it was, Joel, if you want to share it, but it's like.
That was $250,000
for busing at the bowl game, $250,000. Yeah. So, and that's one of our biggest expenses at the bowl, is busing people from like Disney to back to their hotel.
Yeah. So
Well,
and then we can get off this because we're spending a lot of time on it. But Disney Day alone, the busing for Disney Day alone is over $70,000 for that one day.
Does that just blow your mind? You know, and they're having to raise their prices because gas has gone up, labor's gone up, you know. Okay, so we'll get off that, but just wanted you to know that price increases are coming, and they're not going to be across the board. I think they're going to be, and they're working on it. Christina's been patiently waiting for Steve to get this done. But yeah, so that'll be coming. I just had another thought that left me that I wanted to talk about. So anybody has anything for the second, let me just think here.
I'll kind of just jump in back to TWDs. Super fun. Last weekend was awesome with two pretty large events. It's really fun to see the excitement the kids have on the floor. All the, the award ceremonies and different things, and just see how genuinely excited the kids are, as well as, a lot of you guys too. It's fun seeing how you guys interact with the kids and really, go all out at the sound table. I joke with some people to quit pounding the table so hard, but it's actually, I would much rather have excited directors at the table than directors not excited. So know that I like people that freak out and lose their voices.
That's cool. I thought of my thought and now it went again. God, what is wrong with me? Oh, come on. Well, it couldn't have been too important, but it was. When I thought of it, I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that. Anything else, anybody? Because it's not coming. They call this chemo brain. I guess it's a real thing where you keep losing your thoughts.
Well, you look adorable. I hope you're feeling good.
Well,
Oh, thank you.
I have some exciting news.
What's that?
Well, I mean, it's not my news, but I'm letting everyone know that Christina is expecting a baby in August.
If you tell them.
We were trying to do something
I'm
cool.
freaking out. That is so awesome.
We're
Yes,
also
we're very excited.
Yeah, we're all. So your baby's due when, Christina?
August 7th.
Okay. That's so exciting. And
So
Allie,
Allie's baby's due on Cindy's anniversary and Christina's baby's due on my anniversary.
that
That's
is just
really funny.
crazy.
We're just keeping it all in the family here.
Well, that's great. And Sherry had her baby. We have so many babies. It's so cool. Make sure if you have a baby or a grandbaby that you send it into Tara for the power pack.
Send the baby in.
Yeah.
Just send the baby in.
No, the picture of the baby, the
We'll take
info.
the baby too, though.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. So
We were trying to do it like this. Does that?
that would have been really funny if you
But I
did that.
couldn't get it quick enough.
Just couldn't make it happen.
Oh, that is really funny. Very, very funny. I know what I was going to say before is that one thing I was thinking is I would like to, in the next month, Marnie, you can, and Christina can help with this. I would like to group you guys into some groups where we could have some targeted meetings. One of them being my expenses are really high. How can I get them down? Like maybe have a group of the top expenses, like if you're over where you should be, and then we could have a meeting to help you with that. And you can put in the side what you would maybe like a group to be, like a targeted group. I know sometimes people like large program or small program. And then also you could also put things that you really want to happen at convention, maybe different than before, like a topic that you like. We've always divided into large program, small program, medium program. And we're like, should we not do that this year because we do it every year? Or do you like that? We want more discussion time. So that's just something to think about too. Like, what are you wanting? What would you like to talk about? So April likes.
And
the-
Cindy will have the RSVP out early, like probably the first week of April too for that.
Okay. That'll be great. Because it'll be here before you know it. Well, that's about all I have. Yeah, someone said a social media group. That'd be a good thing to like just have a class just on how you do your social media, because some people are so good at it. One thing, if you're not good at it, is just follow people that are good at it. And there are some whizzes in here that just really, really hit it hard. It's great to see you guys doing that. So it's free advertising. So great. So yeah, well, that's about it.
Cindy, an idea at convention, I think, I don't know how long ago we did this, but we had it where it was like 10, I think it was like 10 people. It was back when we were still at the school and in the libraries where we did it. And we had like large programs and this and that, and like directors who have been around for longer that kind of had like, if you had questions about like this, they were really good at it. Questions about this. So I know I was young at the time, or I'll say fresh, I guess, to JFK, and it was super helpful because then I could go and be like, okay, like, I don't know, like special sessions, you're really good at these. What do you do? Or, you know, this was adding in a new style. How do you start doing that? I trying to think what they all
Was
were,
it-
but it was super
was it-
helpful and I think it was
Was it different than when we had the panel up front where people told stuff? So it was more like,
it was
okay.
different. Kind
Yeah,
of the
okay.
same
You
idea,
called them
but it was, like,
breakouts.
in between classes. Is that what
You
it
guys,
was?
you guys
Yeah.
called them breakout sessions.
Okay. And maybe I know we.
It was really,
One where it was like
I was at
fast,
direct
like
with-
speed dating, where you, not speed dating, but that concept where you were at a table and you had 15 minutes on this topic and then you moved to another table of your choice when we rang a bell. Was that it? That would be fun to do if we have, you know.
my
Every-
brain's a little foggy. I don't remember exactly. I just remember
Yeah.
it was really helpful because you could go to like the tables where you needed help and
I think,
the
yeah,
doctors
we
were
can do
great.
that. We can add that in. That'd be kind of fun.
Also, congrats, Christina and Joel. I learned my dancers call me aggressive at the coaches table. That's their word. They're like,
Yes.
oh, you get aggressive. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe that does what I do. Just
Yeah.
side notes.
That's really funny. All right. Well, I think this is about it, you guys. Great talk today. And yeah, thank you so much for all of you taking your time and tuning in, because it really helps us get, you know what's going on. And it's just helpful to have you all together at one time. And I love getting your opinions on things. So as always, if you need anything, let us know. We appreciate all you do day in and day out and to keep this happening. So thank you. Bye.